Hi everyone, my name is Toxic Pizza, and I've got a lot to say about a certain someone in Guilty Gear Strive. Nagoriyuki is one of the new characters introduced to the Guilty Gear series in Strive. A vampire samurai from Nigeria, Nago has a really cool design, both visually and mechanically. Unfortunately, in practice he's a glass cannon that is far more glass than cannon, and in this video I will describe why that's the case. I'll start by describing this character's design intent. Nagoriyuki is a zoner with strong special moves and long-range attacks. His massive longsword is meant to keep opponents away from him with moves like Far Slash, 2S, 2H, and 5H. Up close, he has passable pokes such as the plus on block Close Slash and the 0 on block 5K. His series of special moves each fill up a meter called the blood gauge, split into 3 sections, which increases the length of his sword normals as it fills up. He can also cancel his specials into each other. However, if the blood gauge fills up completely, he enters the blood rage and is locked out of using specials until the meter depletes. He will also rapidly lose health. However, his sword normals become very long range in this mode, and he has access to an overdrive that exits blood rage on use. Fukyo is Nago's command dash. As his unique, and more or less only, movement option, Nago uses this to rush in for pressure, continue combos, or make a quick getaway. Unless the player holds forward or backward after the dash, Nago will keep his momentum for better frame advantage. Zarameyuki is a projectile that travels about 2/3 of the screen. It eats through other projectiles and will persist even if Nago gets hit during its active frames. It's pretty decent for ending a combo. Kamuriyuki is a sweeping sword swipe that sends Nago forward and gives a hard knockdown on hit. It's great for combo conversions. Shizuriyuki is an anti-air attack that has 2 hits. The first hit can be special cancelled and only goes into the second hit on block or hit. And of course there's my personal favorite, Blood-Sucking Universe, a command grab that drains the blood meter on contact and steals health from the opponent. It allows Nago to play fast and loose with his specials for a short time. Like all characters, Nagoriyuki has 2 overdrive attacks. The first is Wasureyuki, which is a pretty basic super. It's fairly unremarkable apart from the fact that it has 18 hits in it and looks really cool. His second overdrive is Zansetsu, which is accessible only while he's in Blood Rage. This super goes full screen and ends Blood Rage upon activation. Overall, Nagoriyuki seems like a strong character who can blow up the opponent for slipping, while at the same time needing to be mindful of his blood meter. The patient player will definitely be rewarded by this character. So given all of this, why is he bad? Buckle down y'all, because we're getting into the meat now. To start with this list of Nagoriyuki's weaknesses, his mobility is very poor. He has no run, no air dash, and no double jump. His jump comes out in 5 frames, and his super jump comes out in 10, while everybody else gets to enjoy a universal 4-frame jump squat. His only fast movement options are the command dash and technically Kamuriyuki, but those fill the blood gauge and are taken away from him during Blood Rage. This makes it very difficult for Nago to navigate the screen in quite a few matchups, particularly against Ino, Zato 1, or Faust. Second, Nago's defense is also lacking. This ties into his bad mobility, but in many situations, Nago is forced to utilize yellow RC to halt the opponent's pressure. Third, and most importantly, the blood gauge hurts Nago a lot. To elaborate on this, I'm going to discuss the differences between the first open beta test and the second open beta for this character. In open beta 1, or Obi-1 as I will refer to it from now on, Nagoriyuki was played like a rushdown character by most players. This resulted in him entering Blood Rage more often than not. However, a few players realized the character's true nature as a zoner, and managed to play Nago true to his design. In my opinion, this version of Nago needed just a few changes to make him better. For example, his pressure kinda doesn't exist, you know? A lot of his block strings have punishable gaps, which isn't all that unique to him, but his command dash is really the only way to quickly move in to take a bite with the command grab, and nothing after a dash is airtight. The command grab itself saps a pretty abysmal amount of health, considering how important it is for the character. Another change I'm proposing is more of a personal opinion, but 6H should be an overhit or something like that. This would help keep his pressure less linear, and also give him some more things to do to open up the opponent. And from a general standpoint, this character can't really bait and punish the way his kit encourages you to, as Guilty Gear actively punishes you for turtling by way of negative penalty and risk. Unfortunate, but not really something we can control. Open Beta 2. Oh boy. OB2 is where things truly went downhill for our samurai boy. Among other changes, the biggest nerfs went to the blood gauge. Although the command dash now did less meter gain overall, all of the other specials added more meter. Since all of Nago's confirms require at least 2 specials, a single combo filled the blood gauge by nearly half. This was supposedly balanced by having the character spend less time in blood rage when it's activated. In addition, his sword normals depleted less of the blood gauge than in the previous build. If you see where I'm getting at here, this is a pretty massive problem. Nagoriyuki's options are just not strong enough to justify such an absurd penalty for playing the game. It turned him from a zoner that rewards your patience and willpower to a character that is something of an exercise in futility. I believe OB2 Nago was the worst character in that build, by far. So how can the developers fix him? Let's start with the blood gauge. Nago shouldn't be getting punished for landing a single combo. Period. When it comes to blood gauge gain, I think a middle ground between Open Beta 1 and Open Beta 2 is ideal. Keep the command dash's meter gain low, like in OB2, but lower the other specials' gain back down to their OB1 levels. This way, Nagoriyuki can perform more than one combo before entering blood rage, and his pressure strings can last longer before he needs to use the command grab. Secondly, in blood rage mode, Nago is basically a sitting duck. I understand that it's meant to punish the player for being too reckless with special moves, but full screen buttons don't mean jack if the opponent chooses not to engage. Perhaps Nago could have a special move or two that he can only access in blood rage. And for the love of God, please make his jump squad the same as everybody else. He already has the worst jump in the game. Please, Arxis, just give me this one thing. Anyway, what can Arxis add to Nago? The mechanic of buffing sword normals with higher blood meter is something that I think is really cool. But what if Nago could spend his blood gauge for more powerful special moves? For example, what if one blood bar allowed him to send out a more traditional, slow-moving projectile that did massive chip damage, or allowed him to command dash in the air even, or even let him double jump? All I'm saying is, there are a lot of cool things Arxis could do with this character to make him more engaging for the players and the audience. So in conclusion, I fell in love with Nagoriyuki the moment Arxis uploaded his reveal trailer. A cool black dude with a big sword? Awesome. When I saw him in action during the first open beta test, I knew who I was going to main in Guilty Gear Strive. He has the sickest design of any new fighting game character in a long while, and it breaks my heart to see that he just doesn't work. I can only hope that Arxis buffs Nago such that he can be viable in the long-term future of the game. Remember, Daisuke, it's never too late to bend the knee. Thank you for watching.
Free love was too tame for him.
What is love? What is free love? What is free boy? What is boy? What is girl? What is free girl? What is love? Is